All right, so you play here against Werner Hook.
Hook was, in my opinion, probably the most talented player from Switzerland. We knew each other for a very long time. We played together very important games, and in one moment he was also junior world champion. I mean, it was very unclear why he didn't become also grandmaster. It's a pity, in my opinion, because, as I told you, he was very talented.
He gave up, or
no, he played, but somehow it happened that he didn't become, other good players from Switzerland.
He didn't make the norms.
He didn't make the norms, but it was very strange. Why and how? Because, as I told you before, he played well and had very good results, but somehow it happened that he didn't, take the title. Okay. So anyway, the game will be very interesting. We'll have, again, one of our, favorites, the Zemlya variation against the King's Indian. Okay, so after bishop e3, e5, the old line, c6, queen d2, c takes d5, c takes d5, a6, okay, bishop d3, knight h5, knight g2, knight d7. Well, until here, everything is theory, and now the normal move is castle. After castle, okay, the theory, So instead of castle, I castle long side, which is a new move, more or less, you see, a new line.
Instead of...
It seems a little bit strange, because usually, the normal position is with, the normal castle, king side. But after this move, the game will be very tactical. It seems that black has very good initiative, very good tactical chances here. But in reality, the game is very complicated and, in my opinion, is playable and better for white, you see. We'll see what happens. Okay, b5, good move. King b1, knight b6. And now, counterattack on the other side, g4. Yeah. g4, knight f4, very, very good. It seems that he gives a pawn, but now if you take the pawn in f4, he has time to come immediately with b4, you see, b4, knight e2, yeah, and knight a4, and this is very unclear. Probably is okay for black, because you can't control the black squares, you see. If you have to play b3, is already very dangerous for white, you see, here. So, like this, is not really good for white, so you don't take the pawn.
So you need to defend here.
Yeah, you play bishop f2. You don't take the pawn, but you control the black squares. This is important, the black squares. Here he played knight a4, is a little bit provocative, but the alternative was also better for white. If he played here b4,
yes,
knight e2, and as I told you before, knight a4, yeah? And now the big difference, you have time to put the bishop in d4, clearly better for white. This is better, clearly better for white. Now you control the diagonal, the bishop from g7, you can trade the bishop, and afterwards the pawn from f4 is under attack. It's better for white anyway, You control the central squares, and black has nothing, in a few moves tactically, it has no threat. Okay. So, all right, he played immediately here knight a4, which is very interesting also. He wants to open the line, you see, rook b8 and so on. So, again, you have to be careful and play very well. So, bishop c2.
Yeah, because now looks very dangerous.
It looks, but as long as you can control, as I told you, the square d4, it's okay for white, you see.
To block it here.
Yeah, to put the bishop there. And now after a3, very good again, bishop d4. This is the idea, So, okay, now you control the square, and you have a good idea later on with h4, threatening to come quickly on the other side. And you have also the tactical threat e5. And after e5, you have time to have later on a free pawn on d5. The free pawn from d5 will be decisive normally, So, okay, rook b8. Now b3, a5, again, he continues, the idea, And now much better than queen a4. Queen a4 wins a pawn, but gives the initiative. This is not good. So e5. The e5 is the best move, of course. e5, rook b4, queen c3. Okay. Okay, always initiative. White plays always for initiative. Okay. Queen takes. Now a4, and now again on the central square, rook d4. See? After rook d4, what can he do? He must take in d4. He must take in d4, and now he plays against the free pawn and tries to block the d pawn with queen d6. Well, everything is normal until now. Both players played logically very well until now, but white is better, clearly better.
But here wasn't better instead of the bishop to bring the rook?
Yes, it's possible, but we have also the idea to play later on h4. Therefore, the rook is okay there, As long as he can't move f5, white is probably winning here, Here, of course, f5 is very big mistake because you take, and rook g1 check and finished,
Yes.
Almost mate. So he took in b3, I took, and now it's all right. Queen d6, normal, king a2, block the pawn, rook c8, and now rook d1. As you can see, the situation is very clear. We have to trade queens later on with the idea g5 somehow, g5 and queen f6. This is the idea, to trade queens and win any endgame. Any endgame is won for white because we have this free pawn from d5 that wins in any position, So, okay, rook d1. He tries to stop a little bit, So h6, h4, rook d8, g5. Well, until now everything is all right, normal, okay. Now we prepare queen f6, of course. And now again, h5, Taking in g5 was not good because you open again the h line and you come back with the rook and give you mate in h8, you see. Yeah. So h5, he tries to close a little bit the position, and now queen f6, everything is perfect until now. The endgame again was very bad for black. If he took in f6 and rook d6, again was very bad, instead of king f8, you see. Queen takes f6, g takes f6, rook d6, king takes a3, rook takes f6, d6, wins.
So if he takes
here takes, rook d6,
Yes.
King takes a3.
Yes.
We give the pawn. He takes there, and d6, and finished. Because now if he takes in e4, d7, queen, you see.
Direct?
Yeah, queen.
Yes.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
So this is the idea. So he tries to, to resist somehow, blocking again with king f8. Okay, after king f8, we took in d6. He has to take. King takes a3. King e7. Okay. Until now, everything was all right. I mean, white played the perfect game and excellent game. And here... we are both in big time trouble, and here it's very easy to win with king b4, King b4, king c5, and so on, and then you move the rook, and in a few moves it's finished, you see. And I don't know how I touched the pawn from b3, and I had to play the pawn, and I played b4. And after b4, you have to win again, if possible. The game is almost draw here after b4. Very bad mistake, b4.
So you have to come with the king first.
No, king b4 wins immediately. In any position wins immediately.
Why?
If you arrive in c5, it's finished.
Because
the idea is to arrive with the king in c5, and later on you move the rook. The rook is free to move.
Okay.
And it's finished. You see, the pawn from d5 is protected, and in a few moves it's finished. But now after this bad move b5, he has time to come with the king to block the pawn. You see. And that makes a very big difference. Now you can't, eliminate the king from d6. I mean, you can't move something to force him to go away.
Yeah.
So what to do now here? We made a few moves in big time trouble, but anyway, the game is almost draw here. So rook c1 here, rook c1. This was the game now, until now, yes. And now, again, he made the big mistake, king e5. I don't know why. he took his king and played an active move. Well, he was very tired until now. He always in defense and so very unpleasant. And well, for once he could play a normal move, an active move. And after king e5, he's lost again. You know, king e5 is very bad mistake. If he didn't play king e5, it's almost impossible to win because the king is very good in d6 and he has counterplay. You know.
So you give up
After
opponent.
after king e5 d6 he's lost again because now he has to take in e4
Yes.
and any endgame is lost for black now again, you see. The rook is very active, you see. The rook is very active, is enough to win with the b pawn. So okay, the rest is all right. It's technique, you see here. Okay. It's easy to win. We can demonstrate how, you see, until the end. So, but it's easy. So he tries to come to g4 and take it there, but it's too late. Yeah. F5, decisive now. Check there, rook b5. And now what to do? Of course, the only good move is check. You know. But as I told you, it's too late. Yeah. And now rook h1, the last hope. I mean, if you played b7, he has time to give check in f5. But okay, rook b4, check and black resign.
So here, if you play
b7, very big mistake, you lose the game. After rook f5, you lose the rook, you see.
in the pawn.
Well, of course, rook b4 check and he resigned.
Yeah.
Well, as I told you before, very good game, almost perfect, until b4. b4, very bad mistake in time trouble. But it happens, you know. One mistake, it's enough not to win the game. So you have to win again the second time.
To fight again,
Yeah. Well, this is chess, somehow, you see.
Well,
A very good example. With a small mistake like this, but the rest is very good. The rest is perfect for white.
all right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're welcome.